The Tiger II SLA was an experimental version of the infamous King Tiger tank. It was upgraded with a new diesel engine which gave it increased mobility compared to its petrol-powered brothers. This German premium used to be the king of battle rating 6.7, just as the Leopard L44 is spammed at top tier now. Several years ago, it was this big German cat that was causing carnage on the battlefield. Alright lads, today I'm going to be talking about the performance, weapons and playstyle of the Tiger II SLA. Starting as always with the basics, this vehicle is a rank 4 battle rating 6.7 heavy tank located in the German tech tree. Being a rank 4 premium, it will only be effective at researching other vehicles between the ranks of 1 and 5. To get this tank, you will first have to purchase it in a pack on the Guardian store. For a price of €40, you get the tank, 1000 golden eagles and 7 days of premium time. After purchasing the pack, you will have a small crew train cost of 10,000 silver lions. You can then additionally purchase the expert and ace qualifications for the tank, costing 360,000 silver lions and 990 golden eagles respectively. Unsurprisingly for a premium vehicle, the Tiger II SLA has a fairly low repair cost of 4,990 silver lions. Going on to the rewards, the tank has a base RP modifier of 1.84, which gives you an RP modifier of 368% with a free-to-play account and 552% with a premium account. With a base silver lion modifier of 1.4, you will be making a steady income of silver lions. You can expect a 240% silver lion modifier with a free-to-play account and 420% with a premium account. So, is this German beast still as dominant as it used to be back in the day? And is it still the best tier 4 grinder for the Germans? If you'd like to know the answer for these questions, then stick around for the rest of the video. Okay, so as usual we start with the engine and mobility. We can see that the Tiger II is powered by an engine producing 750 horsepower. Combined with the vehicle's weight of 68.2 tons, it gives the tank a power to weight ratio of 11 horsepower per ton. This power to weight ratio is pretty poor, even for a heavy tank. But the engine is respectable and does get the tank up to a top speed of 42 km per hour and 11 km per hour in reverse. While the top speed, both forward and reverse, is respectable, due to the low power to weight ratio, driving this tank it does feel a little bit sloppy. Okay, so you join me here in a test drive. The first thing I want to point out is that the Tiger II does get the ability to neutral steer. This means you have got pretty good mobility for a heavy tank, as you can rotate on the spot, which is especially helpful in tight urban areas. While the tank's acceleration in a straight line isn't too bad for a heavy tank, you can really show how sloppy it is when you try and make quick directional turns. As you can see, we are quite sloppy, quite sluggish. It's very hard to be quite nimble, but as you'd expect, it is a heavy tank, so you can't really complain too much. I mentioned that this tank has a top speed of 40 km per hour. This, however, is only on hard terrain such as asphalt or paved surfaces. On soft terrain such as mud and grassland, which we're currently on, you can only really reach a top speed of 30 km per hour. Overall, the mobility of the Tiger II SLA is pretty good for a heavy tank. While its power to weight ratio is rather low, its acceleration both forwards and reverse is pretty good, allowing you to get in and out of cover reasonably quickly. The tank does however start to feel sluggish when trying to traverse the hull, so don't get into brawling matches with medium and light tanks. So we now move on to the armour and survivability of the vehicle. The first thing I want to point out is that the Tiger II SLA has a crew of 5 men, 2 located in the frontal hull and 3 located in the turret. Having a crew of 5, it does make the Tiger quite hard to kill in one single shot. However, you can shoot a round just here and it will knock out the driver, the gunner and the commander in one round. While this round won't kill you, it'll leave you unable to move and unable to shoot your gun for at least 10 seconds, giving your enemy plenty of time to put a round into one of your 2 remaining crew members. Moving to the side of the tank, and we can see that the crew layout does make it quite hard to kill in a single hit. The crew in the hull are located quite far away from the crew in the turret, meaning it's quite hard to take them both out at once. However, regardless of the crew spacing in the vehicle, you still have your first stage ammunition rack in the back of your turret bustle. You will always have ammunition stored here, so any experienced player is just going to fire a round into this location and it will blow the turret clean off the tank, instantly killing you. You may also notice that we have ammunition stored here in the hull. However, this can be removed by taking no more than 22 rounds of ammunition. To test the armour of this tank, we'll be using the Centurion Action X, a British battle rating 6.7 medium tank, which is a very common enemy. We will be using the Shot Mark 1, which is an APC-BC round, which lacks any explosive filler. Starting as always with the lower frontal plate, and you can see that we have a huge 294mm of protection. As we go to the upper frontal plate, that rises to a 290 all the way up to around 320mm of protection. The protection offered by the upper and lower frontal plates of this tank is incredible. There are very few APC-BC rounds which can penetrate, and you will only really struggle when facing sub-caliber and heat-FS rounds. As we move up to the turret front, we come across the main weak spot of this tank. You'll note that this is the only part of the turret which is relatively flat and unsloped. While this is technically a weak spot, it still offers you over 190mm of protection. As we move to the turret cheeks, you can see that it is pretty much an automatic ricochet here, and the same thing can be said as we move to the turret top. Moving to the side of the hull, you see that we have a pretty much constant 89mm of protection all the way down the tank. And as we move to the turret side, it starts at around 160mm and drops down all the way to around 130mm. As we move to the hull rear, we have around 100mm of protection. As we go to the turret rear, that drops down to around 90mm of protection. The protection that this armour offers from conventional APC-BC rounds is incredibly good. However, if we move to APDS rounds, you can see that it changes it completely. The British Sugar Cubes, or the British APDS rounds, they can punch straight through pretty much all your frontal armour. And if we move to a battle rating 6.7 vehicle armed with heat-FS, such as the Swedish IKV-91, it's the same story again. Your lower frontal plate, upper frontal plate, and turret front are all weak spots. Overall, the days of the Tiger II SLA being the king of the battlefield are long gone. With the introduction of several vehicles at battle rating 6.7 armed with heat-FS and APDS rounds, the reliability of your armour has been substantially reduced. While the armour protection of this vehicle is by no means bad, it pretty much depends on which vehicle you are fighting. Against tanks armed with APC-BC rounds, you are pretty much still godlike and can brawl to your heart's content. But there are even some light tanks in the game which can now low pen your armour from the front, leaving you feeling rather embarrassed. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at the armament of this vehicle. As you can see, the Tiger II SLA is armed with the legendary 88mm KWK-43 cannon. Being a World War II tank, the gun is unstabilised, but it does have pretty good vertical guidance characteristics. It has 15 degrees of gun elevation and 8 degrees of gun depression, which will allow you to use ridgelines reasonably well. You can carry 70 rounds in total, but for reasons we spoke about in the survivability section, I wouldn't recommend taking any more than 22 rounds. Moving on to the weapon reloading skill under the tank loader section, you can see that we have a base reload speed of 9.75 seconds, and with an ace crew, that drops down to 7.5 seconds. This is very good for a heavy tank, especially considering most Soviet and American heavy tanks have a reload speed of around 15 to 12 seconds. We're next going to the targeting skill under the gunner section, and you can see that this tank has a base turret rotation speed of 13.3 degrees per second, and with an ace crew, that rises to 19 degrees per second. This is pretty good for a heavy tank, and will allow you to rapidly swing your barrel onto any enemy appearing on your flanks. Moving on to the modifications, the first thing I'd like to point out is unlike this tank's bigger brother the Tiger 105, you do not get any access to range finding equipment. This means that your crew are unable to estimate ranges greater than 1 kilometer away. Next we move on to the ammunition, and as you can see, we only have 4 rounds to choose from. Your first and most useful round in this tank is a Panzer Grenadier 3943 shell. This is an APC-BC round, and it has a muzzle velocity of 1000 meters per second, making it very easy to aim at long range. It also has pretty good penetration characteristics, being able to punch through 237mm of armour. As well as the high penetration and fast muzzle velocity, you also have 109 grams of TNT filler. This gives you very good post-penetration damage characteristics, which in turn results in predominantly one-shot kills. You also have an armour-piercing composite rigid shell, which has a faster muzzle velocity of 1130 meters per second, giving it slightly better penetration with 279mm. However, this type of round performs very poorly against angled armour, making it fairly hit and miss at battle rating 6.7. You also have an early high explosive anti-tank shell. This has a very low muzzle velocity of 600 meters per second and a pretty poor 110mm of penetration. While it can be used to hull break lightly armoured targets, it isn't particularly useful on the battlefield at battle rating 6.7. Finally, we also have a high explosive fragmentation shell. This has a low muzzle velocity of 820 meters per second and a terrible 14mm of penetration. Again, just like the high explosive anti-tank round, this is pretty much useless at battle rating 6.7. Okay, so you join me now on a test drive. I'd just like to show you that in the gunner sight, you have a fairly average field of view in this tank. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. It's nowhere near as bad as the other Soviet vehicles. It is pretty standard for what you find on German vehicles. They tend to have pretty good optics. I'd also like to point out the zoom levels of this tank in the gunner's sight. When you zoomed fully out, it does give you a very good field of view. When you zoomed in, it is pretty good. You can get some good shots on target. Overall, the cannon on this tank is incredibly good. You have a high penetration, fast firing gun, capable of knocking out the majority of tanks you will ever meet on the battlefield. While you will struggle against some of the super heavy Soviet tanks such as the IS-4, your faster fire rate should allow you to knock out their cannon and then flank them to put sides into their weaker side armour. Okay, so welcome to Alaska. We have some sort of visual glitch here. We are in an up tier as well, as you can see. That is a 7.7 vehicle, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I spy a mile to light, a T-29. Popped his fucking clogs. That's a T-34. I fucking saw an outline of him. So he doesn't know that I'm going to take ages to reload here. Well, he hesitated and it got him killed. Oh well, I'm dead here because that's a T-44 100. My gun is reloaded actually. I keep on forgetting that we aren't actually damaged. I don't know if he can kill me from there. Probably can destroy my barrel. Kinda do want to hide that. Oh, shall I angle my turret though? Oh, go on mouse. See, can I... Well, should have kept my turret angled. Once again, every game seems to be an up tier all of a sudden for some reason. Like Guardian, they've completely destroyed the battle rate in 6.7 meta. Every game you used to play, if you queued in 6.7, you would get 6.7. Popped his clogs. An M56 just killed our friendly Stritzwagen 10 shooters. That was very lucky for us. Now, if I don't know if that's an enemy trying to push across. I think it is, you know. I'm gonna hold our gun about there. He must be coming across. Got him. Not so sneaky now, you little British bastard. Right, I'm British. Wait, is he still going? Is there another one? There's a fucking another. Oh, we got his track, but we're not going to be able to stop them from capping. Not unless we can spot them through the smoke. Oh, he's over there. Not good. Well played. Oh, there's another one pushing out. Got his track. We should have a better reload than him. Where's he gone? Right, well, can't do anything about that. Plan at the minute is to just let them keep on pushing, wear them down a little bit, and then eventually push into B. See, I can't really do anything about that. See, they've got people firing from down the street. Gonna have to make a risky play here. This is gonna be very, very risky. That T-29 is just gonna pop out and blow me into pieces, but I need to clear this street. At the minute, I do not see anyone. I don't even know what is down here. He's just fired though. Right, well, his day's been ruined. I don't know if I can turn my gun or Awkward thing about the Tiger, it's not exactly a beauty pageant. Oh, it's not exactly a beauty pageant winner. Oh, that's not epic. Well, that looks to me looks like a Carnarvon. This isn't fun. Not fun at all. Well, I got people behind me. No. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I got his fucking driver. What good is that game? Get in cover. Oh, he's missed. Should be able to put one through his turret ring. Oh, what? What is that? Right, well. It took us a bit of time, but we got him. Shouldn't really push around a corner like this. Can't really see. But if we can make this work, we're going to be very, very instrumental in our team. Ah, oh. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, well, he didn't fall for my trap. See, I can't really do anything to get rid of that guy there. Don't think I can shoot through that. Don't really want to take the risk. What we're going to do is try and pull back here. I think he might have been. I think he just fired that other one. This isn't good. Please. Oh, get out my face, bitch. 7 kills, boys. I think we're gonna die here, though. Oh, that's not good. Is that an M103? Fucking is. I don't even know if I can penetrate him from the front. Where can I get that? I don't know if I can penetrate anywhere. Oh well. Joke's on you, boys. Well done, Arado. Well, that was quite a nice little push. I'm gonna get shot in the ass here, probably. I hope that wasn't a bomb. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Oh, he's bottled it. Gonna take a random shot. Oh well, that was very, very lucky. The luck is with the German team today, boys. Oh, there's another. Yeah, it is. Because if it's a British tank. Uh-oh. I think he pushed through. Anyways, no point us pushing, we can just hold B and win. No point being greedy. Don't push, hold B. This isn't sim battle, so... Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, I got our gunner. Fuck. I don't... Yeah, we're dead here. Well played. To conclude, I believe that the Tiger II SLA is a very good premium. It has decent mobility, useful armour, and one hell of a powerful gun. On top of this, you have several incredibly powerful vehicles to back you up in your lineup, as well as pretty good RP and Silverline modifiers. My main issues with this tank are technically not about the tank itself, more the ecosystem the Tiger now finds itself in. There have been lots of new vehicles added since the release of the SLA, many vehicles which use Heat FS and APDS, which pretty much negate your armour. I also believe that Guardian have changed the way the matchmaker works, as I find myself up tier to battle rating 7.3 and 7.7 games incredibly often now, where the issues of Heat of S and APDS are only worse. We now come on to the question of the best rank 4 German premium, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a fight between the Tiger 2 SLA and the RU251. The Tiger is more useful at battle rating 6.7, but due to the RU251's Heat of S round, as well as its higher mobility, make it much more suitable in an up tier in my opinion. Regardless of the RU251 having some advantages, I'd still recommend new players purchasing this tank as a first German grinder. I bought this tank years ago, long before the Heat of S spam at battle rating 6.7, back when the Tiger 2 was the absolute brawling king of 6.7. And even now, when it's getting a little bit long in the tooth, I'd still purchase this vehicle myself, as I find it incredibly fun to play. As always lads, I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you very much for watching.